Pidjeon.
Morning glory and hallelujah, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to Wednesday. It is the 10th day of September 2025. My name is Nick. I present to you Big J.
Hello.
Last night, Big J watched a movie. That movie is named after a city. More than that, it's named after a capital city here in the United States of America.
United States of America.
That city and that movie and that capital is called Sacramento. And Big J sat down and watched a movie. He will report to us on his feelings about said movie before we hit the 7 o'clock hour. That was the movie you assigned him to watch, so we're going to get his movie review for that over the course of the show today. Big J, we have to let people know about the Aftershock Power Hours over the course of the actual weekday as well. We are qualifying people for a trip for two to go to Aftershock in Sacramento, California. If you're not familiar, well, that's probably the biggest music festival on the West Coast, the western part of the United States. Now, I'll even take in, all the way up to like St. Louis. You can't find a music festival, regardless of the format of said music festival, larger than the 4-day Aftershock Music Festival. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Agree.
And so we have an opportunity for you to go there and check that out, but you need to know when the power hours are so that you can pay attention to the artists that we feature in that hour, and then you can call in or text in and let us know how many artists we played. And if you were the first person correct, boom, you are qualified. And we give away bonus pairs of tickets on Fridays. It's a real hubbubaloo, my friend. And you'll have a chance to be a part of that. We also have to give away some X-Fest 2025 tickets, Big J. The lineup locked in. Yeah! We know when it's happening, we know what's going on, and now you have an opportunity to win some serious tickets to that show for free. We'll give you a couple opportunities to do that today. That's pretty cool.
And we got some brass coming in.
Some brass?
Yeah, we've got the Mid-Star Fire Chief, Greg Timinsky's coming in.
Wonderful. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's going to be an awesome conversation because we have been talking for, it feels like years at this point, Big J.
It has been.
About levees.
It has been years.
In this particular area of the Treasure Valley and how it's a struggle. So we're going to get some inside information as to why that is. Is it just misinformation? Is it lack of information? Is it a NIMBY thing? What's going on? And why can't we talk a big game when it comes to our first responders, but we don't do a whole lot to help them when the opportunity is on our table to do so, I guess, is our point, right?
Yeah. I mean, not to call everybody out, but, there's, and I get it. It's a tax thing, and nobody wants to increase their tax limit, but it's not a ton of money, and it's part of the game, man. It's part of what needs to be done when an area grows. The more people are needed in order to protect that area.
So we're going to get some real inside baseball information here and breakdown. It's like a morning after with Nick and Big J investigates the fire department leaving.
I thought that's what the X-Rock murder mystery was. You're confusing fictional characters and real characters.
But
Be careful.
I really want to get down to this and figure out, at least get some information as to why they think it's been such a struggle. And maybe we can educate some of our listeners that maybe didn't go to the polls or maybe change their minds to make them go, yeah, I understand why this is needed. I should be supporting things like this to make sure our first responders have everything that they need to do their job correctly in case of emergency in the place in which I live. It's an important thing that you need. So, yeah, we're going to get down and dirty today. Is that okay, Big J?
Yeah.
We get serious
Let's
for a little
do
bit?
it, man.
All right. But we're also going to do goofy things, and we're going to play some music, so don't worry. Filter kicking things off here on the morning after with Nick and Big J on the X Rocks.
She a legend.
E-W-S. Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The morning after with Nick and Big J.
Important stuff brought to you by Be Our Guest. This Friday, 9 o'clock, xrock.com, an opportunity for you to try out Lemon Tree Company in the Grove by Lemon Tree Company if you haven't yet, or if it's a place that you absolutely love. How about an amazing deal on those particular restaurants? You can jump on to xrock.com at 9 o'clock on Friday, grab $50 for just $25 to check out Lemon Tree Company in the Grove by Lemon Tree Company. An opportunity for you to have some great sandwiches, some great lemonade, all made with the freshest ingredients, some bold flavors, and options for everyone, regardless if you want like a meat lover's favorite or you're looking for a little bit of a vegetarian type fare. It's all covered there, and it's a wonderful place for you to do it. You can check out their website, lemontreeboise.com, if you want to get a little insight on the menu. But be our guest. Try it out at an incredibly discounted rate. Lemon Tree Company in the Grove by Lemon Tree Company. $50 for just $25 of your money. Be our guest at xrock.com, 9 o'clock on Friday. Big J, speaking of restaurants, there will be no In-N-Out Burger on North 10 Mile Road in Meridian. The restaurant had been trying now for, it feels like almost a year, to try to have another In-N-Out Burger, the second one in Meridian, planned for this location that's bustling at this particular point, which is Chinden and 10 Mile, really. And a lot of the residents stepped up and said it's already a congested mess there thanks to Costco. We don't want to add to it. Let's not. And the Meridian City Council once said, yeah, that's probably a good idea not to do that. In-N-Out Burger then, of course, did one of those things where, like, let's appeal this decision and see if it actually is true. And then yesterday, they voted 5-1, the city council did, to deny a permit for what will become the city's second In-N-Out Burger location on 10 Mile Road. The biggest problem is traffic and congestion in the area. They're really worried about that being, I mean, it is already a bit of a mess in that area. There's no doubt about it. The Costco really has one entrance and one entrance only. That's a mess to get in and out of. If you've ever been there on a weekend, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a stone's throw away from my house, so I get it. I wouldn't care. I mean, I feel like In-N-Out has done a pretty good job of planning around those traffic issues and being ready and prepared for that kind of thing. But there's a ton of options that are really difficult to get in and around already in that area. Like, I mean, there's like 6 things that are locked into that Costco parking lot. Like, the only way you can get in is through that entrance. That's already a mess. And then the other side of the 10 Mile, almost down to Linder, it's like one way in, one way out of all these places. And it's a real bad setup already.
And it doesn't help that idiots can't understand how that flow of traffic works. Like, there's a stop sign for one section there, but the rest, there is none, and people constantly stop there.
Yes.
It's, it's like, God, come on, people, pay attention.
I went to Costco this weekend, and I was like, God, like, it's really bad. Like, because there's a lot of, like, choose your own adventure portions of that parking lot, and people choose poorly all the time. And it's like, I'm surprised there's not more accidents here. It's just all wheelie-nilly.
Well, you don't know how many there are there.
No, you're right. But I haven't seen one. I'll put it that way. I've never seen an accident there. But I'm surprised it doesn't happen more often the way people are not paying attention to that area. So while if you're an In-N-Out fan, of course, this is probably sad news to you. You can understand why there's issues. That place is already pretty congested. So not saying no to the actual, like, second location, just saying no to this location. So maybe they'll look at other places. Maybe they'll just give up the fight. We shall see. We don't know. Big J, on Saturday, there was an upset in college football. Mississippi State upset Arizona State, the number 11 team in the country. And fans at Davis-Wade Stadium were so excited that they knocked off a top 15 team that they stormed the field as soon as the game was over, Big J. I don't know if you know this, but the SEC has a rule. And you cannot storm the field or it will cost you a lot of money. And it became an expensive adventure for the program. They were fined $500,000, $500,000. And so that was the first SEC school to be fined under the new, more egregious field storming policy
and
that they have.
And now they can't pay their kicker.
That's right. So
for the love of Pete.
It's not great. So a reminder to fans, keep that in mind. Although I'm 100% certain fans do not care about that. If they're going to do it, that's going to happen. There's not going to be a whole lot you can do to stop it. But you can certainly try. And so it's going to be $500,000, whatever somebody or fans decide to storm the field at this particular point. Big J, were you a fan of the 1985 drama St. Elmo's Fire?
No, not really. I think it was too early for me.
You didn't catch, because it had a big part of the Brat Pack in it. I mean, it came out after Breakfast Club, and I'm sure you've seen that movie, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it had Demi Moore, it had Rob Lowe, it had Emilio Estevez, it had Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy. The whole kind of kid caboodle was in there. Well, believe it or not, it's the 40th anniversary of that particular movie. So they're going to re-release it in theaters on October 17th for 1 week with a 4K restoration of the movie, which, of course, was directed by Joel Schumacher. He also co-wrote it. For those of you who aren't familiar, I mean, I'm surprised they're making this big of a deal about it because St. Elmo's Fire is a straight-up depressing movie. It's got a lot of real downer stuff going on in it. And, I mean, it's fine, I guess. It's just not a fun movie to revisit. Like, I would get it if you do it with The Breakfast Club, because that's a fun movie to watch. You know,
Yeah,
you can hang out, you can laugh, you have a good time. St. Elmo's Fire is all about, like, kids that grow up too quick and really, really adult decisions that they have to make that they aren't mentally prepared to make. It's a real bummer. And so I guess if you want to see that on the big screen, you'll have an opportunity to do so the week of October 17th among big screens all over the country of ours. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff. It is the X Rocks. That's the Offspring. Come on, play here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, I hope you don't find it offensive that I'd like a little bit of an update, because it feels like it's been like 2 months since we've had a Big J weekend great. It's been a while since we've had one. And so I know that now you're empty nesters. The daughter and the boyfriend have moved out. They have their own place. You have the Big J kind of abode back to something that maybe is manageable. How goes the project you've been very vocal about, reorganizing the garage?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's been a slow, that it's improved greatly. There's still quite a bit of stuff in there that I to the wife's credit, she's been saying, look, a lot of this stuff is theirs. And I'm like, myself and Mason were like, no, that's not true. It's true, actually. A lot of the stuff in the garage was theirs. So there's far more improvement in the garage, Nick, but there's still a few things there that over the next few weeks will get taken out. And, we got to a point where we're like, we could probably get a car in there again. But not when my motorcycle's around. She's like, hey, you can always take the bike over to my parents because they've got a big shop.
Yeah.
And
Huge
and it was over there for a week last week. But it's also, I'm like, that's like saying, here, my infant baby can go stay at somebody else's house for the winter. It's not going to happen.
Well,
I want to be close to that thing whenever humanly possible. And also, the rest of the house, though, it's coming along nicely. Like yesterday, I cleaned off the patio, got the power washer out, and washed everything up. I mean, it looks nice.
Nice.
They did take all the furniture.
They did?
The patio. We didn't know they were going to do that. We came home and was like, where is everything?
We've been robbed.
So the household is coming together. Right. We're cleaning things up. Like, her room is already up for rent. No coming back. No, I'm just kidding. But it's a great spare bedroom now that we have set up, and things are great. Now, there's one problem, Nick, that we haven't had a chance to talk about. And the night before my birthday, the wife was like, I'm going to make cookies for you for my birthday. My favorite cookie is the white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookie.
Okay.
And so she's like, I gotta let some butter sit out and warm up and come to room temperature, right? And unbeknownst to us, when we weren't looking, Ladybird, our puppy dog, decided to jump up on the counter and eat 2 sticks of butter. We were looking for it. We're like, where's the butter?
It's a lot of butter.
And then she seemed fine, though, for a while, till she ate some dinner. And the next thing you know, like, I'm in gaming. The wife and the kid are gone for a while, Nick. And I come out, I'm like, what's that smell? Oh, my God. She had thrown up twice on our couch. Like, and we're not talking a little bit. We're talking everything.
Like hot butter throw up.
Like, oh, my God. Yeah. And so we're cleaning it up. And the next day, it smells so bad. Like, the wife's getting sick. I have to go rent on my birthday a vacuum cleaner, to clean. It's still not good. I mean, it's covered in, things. Now we've got it now where I think we're going to hire a professional at some point to clean it finally, but the smell has sort of gone away. But that was like the worst couple days.
You need a cover on it, probably.
Yeah, we do. We have towels on it and blankets now, and we threw baking soda on there for a few days. And but it was the worst thing. And we're like, are we going to have to get rid of this couch now? And it's like, one of the kids is like, I'll take the couch. And we're like, God, you need a couch.
Yeah, take this puke couch.
So other than that, everything seems to be getting in order there at the homestead.
Good. I like to hear that. Only because you've been so passionate about that garage, you now have the space and the ability, I think, to do the work. And I bring it up because there's a new study that says if you do something yourself at home, it makes you feel good for about 2 months. Like, once that project is complete, you have this sense of accomplishment 2 months after. You're like, yeah, dude, I said I was going to do that, and I did that. It doesn't matter how big or how small the DIY project is in your own home. If you complete something that you set out to do, there is a sense of accomplishment that makes you feel pretty good about yourself. And I look forward to to you having that sense of accomplishment when it's not derailed by puking couches and all sorts of different things. So I want that feeling for you, I guess, is my point.
Yeah.
You had this goal. It's very serious. You've been talking about it for a while, so I know it's something that you're passionate about. I'd like to see you get that accomplishment when both a car and your motorcycle can fit into that garage at once. I feel like you'll be a happy man because it's a 2-car garage. That's not too far away,
Is it
right?
a 2-car garage?
It's gotta be.
Well, here's the thing: is that we have a lot of bins and storage
Sure.
bins that we have to negotiate to get out of there. I'm still working on that. I do want to paint the walls, though, just to make it feel like a completed space.
Yeah.
There's unfinished garages,
You don't like the aesthetic
bueno.
of like the white stuff on the walls where you can paint whatever you want?
Yeah, I want to cover the garage in like metallic tapestries.
All right, good luck. Well, you don't need paint for that, just so you know.
I know, but I want to paint behind it.
Morning After with Nick and Big J coming up in a few minutes. Big J's going to let us know how the movie Sacramento was. That's next on the X Rocks. That's Beck. That is Loser here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Yesterday, Big J spent part of his time in front of a television screen watching a movie called Sacramento that is available to watch on Hulu. I've heard really good things about this movie, but I haven't seen it myself, so I look forward to your review of said movie. Big J, please.
Yeah, Sacramento or Sacramento.
Okay.
I'm calling it Sacramento.
Because you don't like the town?
Yeah, that's all right. I don't have any problems in Sacramento. The movie stars Michael Cera and Kristen Stewart, along with Michael Aganarano, who is also the writer and director of this movie. And basically, Michael and Michael, they are best friends. But, Michael Cera's character and Kristen Stewart, they're a couple. They're married. She is pregnant. And he is a ball of nerves because she's pregnant, and also he works for a tech company, and he thinks he's about to get laid off.
Okay.
So he's got some coping issues happening around that, and his friend Michael, they haven't really talked in a while. He's going through some stuff as well, and then he just kind of shows up impromptu and is like, "Hey, let's go to Sacramento," and he's like, "Huh? What? That's weird." And then he tells him that he'll let us know that his father passed away and he wanted to put his ashes in Sacramento. And so that's why this movie's called Sacramento. They take an impromptu road trip to Sacramento, Nick.
Where are they based?
Los Angeles.
Okay.
So it's not that far. It's
like 3 hours.
not a big deal, really. The movie's really about their friendship and their lack of being honest with one another, because Michael Cera's character also, he's trying to ditch him as a friend. Like, it's a stage of life where, like, listen, I'm trying to grow up. I've got a baby on the way. He doesn't tell him he's got a baby on the way. He doesn't want to tell him anything because he doesn't want him to be his friend anymore.
Got it.
But he gets dragged into this, and he goes, and so listen, if you like Michael Cera, then you'll probably like this movie. The guy can't act for nothing. He's Michael Cera.
Sure.
Like, there's only, any movie he's ever been in, you've only seen him play one person, himself. So that's what you can expect from this. And, that to me gets old after a while. So that's why I didn't really think it was that great. There are some funny moments in it. They just don't get really deep on the whole. It's just like it's only an hour and 27 minutes, but like an hour of it is just them talking in circles for the most part. So I didn't appreciate this movie very much. I didn't really get much from their friendship and the stuff that comes out of it. I won't ruin the reason why they really ended up going to Sacramento. Because for some people might want to watch the movie, it would be a bit of a surprise, I think. And you probably, so there you go. But not approved for Big J on this movie.
Too much dialogue. You don't like movies that are talkies.
No, I love dialogue. Good dialogue that isn't just the same stuff going in a circle all the time. And that's Michael Cera. It's like once you've seen one Michael Cera movie, you've seen them all because he's one person. He's one character, and he can't act his way out of a bag.
I get it, but there's a lot of people like that, I guess. Jack Nicholson doesn't have a lot of range. He's
Vince
Jack
Vaughn,
Nicholson, yeah.
Vince Vaughn,
but you like those people, so it's different.
Yeah, I don't mind Michael Cera, but it's just the problem is I think that there's not a good compliment to his style in this because Michael Aganaro's kind of the same style. So there's two of them going at each other like that, and it just didn't work for me.
Got it. So it's a big pass for Big J on Sacramento.
Or Sacramento.
Okay. It's that bad that you want to call it Sacramento?
Yeah, I want to call it Sacramento.
Okay. Listen, if it makes you happy, then knock yourself out. But it is available on Hulu, and you can watch it if you want to. Maybe you're a Michael Cera fan. Maybe you like the rest of the development. And it's something that you might be into. But if you're not a fan, Big J says you probably won't like it. Morning After with Nick and Big J coming up in a few minutes. Some important stuff. Not to mention, we also are going to go to hell. That's next on the X Rocks.
Here's traffic.
Spanning the globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J, we have a worldwide problem, and as somebody that has faced this, maybe you have a solution for this problem.
Yeah, I can help.
Research analyzed data from 204 countries over the last 25 years, Big J. And they found out that 44% of people in the world that are 15 and older that have diabetes have no idea they have diabetes.
Diabetes.
Now, the younger versions of the people that have this are the ones that have the most undiagnosed cases because, they are young, they feel like they're healthy or whatever the case. Maybe they don't need to run the standard operating tests or whatever. But those are the ones that then face greater risks for long-term complications as they get older because undiagnosed cases can face greater problems. And that's not great. In the U.S., the CDC estimates that 8 million adults here have undiagnosed diabetes. That represents about 20% of cases. That's just undiagnosed. Now, lots of people have.
I bet it's way more than 8 million.
The lead researcher warns that, of course, that can cause heart disease, kidney damage, vision problems, and if somebody isn't aware of their diabetes, they will not receive the treatment or the lifestyle guidance that can help them get on the right path. Most undiagnosed cases involve type 2 diabetes, which often remains symptom-free in early stages, which complicates this particular set of skills. But, Big J, what's your solution?
Stop eating sugar and highly processed foods. But, it's not always just like the fat people that have diabetes, Nick. That's the problem. And, in younger kids and whatnot, you're not usually getting like an annual exam every year that's doing blood work and all of that because that's how you discover that. And that's what happened with me is, every year I would have a wellness, thing with my doctor and I would get blood tests and be like, hey, you're real close. Hey, you're pre-diabetes. And then COVID hit and I didn't go to the doctor, for a whole year and a half or longer. Finally went and that's when they're like, oh, hey, you have diabetes. So, it's one of those things. It was maybe a year and a half or two that I was living undiagnosed with that. And, had I not gotten that, it could get much, much worse. So, yeah, you need to keep cognizant and, just be on Johnny on the spot on your health. But that's not easy to do because it's so damn expensive these days. And I'm lucky I have health insurance. Even if it's crappy health insurance, it's still better than some people have. You just, we joke about it all the time when you see people down in, sodas and then candy and be like, oh, hey, that's a trip to diabetes. But it really is. And that's what people do. And they don't respect that. And there's a lot of people who, when they get diagnosed, don't take it seriously. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to start losing limbs. I've seen that. I have friends that didn't want to take their diabetes seriously. And it's not good. And it's not a great way to go.
Right. But it's just a matter of staying on top of things, but you don't know unless you know, which is why going to the doctor and getting those tests are important, especially as you have those younger years, because, again, early diagnosis is the key to sometimes turning it around faster. Than a lot easier to do when you're 22 than when you're 52. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's not great, but it's something you need to be at least aware of. Big J, Bill Belichick has banned any New England Patriots scout from attending North Carolina practices. Seems pretty petty, Big J, because Mike Vrabel said that, Belichick can come to Pats camp anytime he wants to. Vrabel added that Belichick has already been back this year since he attended the Tom Brady statue unveiling last month, and Belichick's ban could end up really causing problems for North Carolina as the Patriots decided to make a bit of a stink about it. Since North Carolina is a state institution, access to the practices for those who legitimately require it cannot be limited in any kind of discriminatory fashion, and that's kind of what's happening here. If Belichick is going to ban one team, he kind of has to ban them all, and then that severely impacts your players and their future in the National Football League. So the question becomes why?
Why?
He's not answering it because he doesn't answer any question. And so you don't really know what's going on there and
I
why.
think we know.
There's something happening.
It's a Robert Kraft thing.
You think he's
like
mad?
Yeah. For whatever reason, I don't.
But
what
Robert
the deal
Kraft
is.
was at the first game. He was up there in his box.
Who knows? But it's weird because part of the sell for him going to North Carolina and to those players is like, hey, I've got a direct line here to the NFL. And I was like, once you start banning the Patriots, I'm like,
Right.
well, that's your closest road. So it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. It's very
Listen.
weird, very petty, and who knows?
He's got a dog collar around his neck from his girlfriend. It's
Not only
pretty
that,
clear.
But I mean, for a long time, Bill Belichick can be described as weird and petty. I mean, it's one of his characteristics that make him who he is.
True.
He's a very petty dude. And so something happened, and he is making an entire team and, quite frankly, his players pay for it as well, which is a weird thing to do in college football. Big James McAvoy is one of our greatest actors. Agree or disagree?
He's awesome.
He was hanging out at the Toronto International Film Festival when apparently some guy came up to him and just started railing on him without any warning. The incident, which occurred in the early hours, left the Scottish actor with some minor injuries, but he declined going to the hospital for any kind of treatment.
He's a tough guy.
Expected to recover quickly. Police are investigating. They're reviewing security footage from the venue. The actor was promoting a new project at TIFF, appeared kind of shaken, but determined to continue his festival appearances. No arrests have been made, but police are urging any kind of witnesses to come forward. So, we are streaming worldwide, Big J. If anybody listening in Toronto saw James McAvoy getting assaulted, please report to your nearest authority and turn him in so that we can say we played a part in justice being served. Maybe James comes on this show. It's a full circle kind of fun thing.
Yeah, we complete the Magneto and Professor X.
You got it.
Is that what you're trying to do?
I'm trying. Listen, I'm just trying to get James McAvoy on the show. We don't even have to ask X-Men
I feel
questions.
like we were close at one point or something, but
I don't recall. I don't think so. But we definitely had Michael Fassbender on the show. That is a fact.
Michael Fassbender has been on this radio program.
Academy Award nominee. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. We're going to go to hell. It's next on the X Rocks.
Up. Oh man, we're going to hell.
Rotten hell, you worthless maggot!
The Morning After with Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
I'm going to try to approach this We're Going to Hell story with as much empathy as I can.
Uh-oh.
Because, I'm not in that situation, but I can certainly understand that pain can make you do some really bonker stuff. You know what I mean?
Pain.
You are going through it, and if you have been in pain for a very long time, I'm sure the end of the rope is there, and you're like, I need to try something new, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to meet a 65-year-old woman that has had arthritis really bad in her knees and her hands for the last 15 years. And anybody who's had any kind of bout with that stuff will tell you it bleeping sucks, man. Nothing great about having really bad arthritis. You freeze up, it's incredibly painful, it's hard to walk, it's hard to get up, etc., etc. So living with that amount of pain for 20 years, I imagine there's certain amounts of frustration that boil over. And when you go to the doctor and you do traditional things and it's not working the way you want to do, maybe, just maybe, you go out there and go, I need to try something else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this story can serve as a reminder that sometimes, yes, Western medicine may not be the answer to all of your problems. It may not give you what you need, but there's a lot of bonkers people out there doing a lot of bonkers things with a lot of bonkers advice that are going to lead you down a road that they just want your money and they don't care what happens to you down the road. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man.
And so this poor woman dealing with a lot of pain, frustrated with her doctor not getting the answers that she needed, still having a lot of pain in her knees and her wrists and all sorts of different joints, she decided she wanted to try a procedure that she had heard from a friend could alleviate some of her pain. It's called gold thread acupuncture, Big J. Now, just from the title alone, can you draw a conclusion as to what it is?
Yeah, acupuncture using golden needles.
Golden threads.
Golden threads, okay.
And so they basically put in a bunch of golden threads, and it's like this belief that this metallic kind of, it's like the magnet bleep. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that's like, oh, you put a magnet on your hip won't work anymore. And sometimes it works.
Magnets.
Most times you paid $45 for a magnet and nothing happens. And so, she had this gold thread kind of factored in through her knees and through her wrists, and she did it trying to lead a normal pain-free life, Big J. Welcome to the We're Going to Hell segment of the
Yeah,
story.
that can't be good. What happened to this poor lady's body?
So she started to do this and was doing it for like 3 months, and her pain was getting worse. She didn't understand. And so she goes back to her regular doctor and says, listen, I've got a confession to make. My friend told me about this gold thread acupuncture, so I stopped taking the steroid pills. I stopped taking the anti-inflammatory drugs that you gave me. I stopped taking any kind of injections, and I was just doing this. And now my knees and my joints and my hands hurt so bad. And
Eastern medicine has failed me, doctor.
Western medicine.
No. It would be Eastern.
Got it. The opposite.
How dare
Understood.
you?
And so the doctor's like, all right, let's take some x-rays. And so he does. And sure enough, Big J, the gold thread you can see in her knees and her hands and all sorts of stuff. It's there. Here's the problem that they don't tell you with gold thread acupuncture, Big J. One of the many serious risks of just leaving a bunch of golden thread in your body, Big J, is your body will not respond well to that foreign object that's in it. You understand?
Yeah, it's a foreign object.
It ended up blocking, and it was done incorrectly, so it ended up blocking a bunch of her blood vessels, and it formed, Big J, gigantic cysts in her knees and in her wrists, and made things worse. The doctors had to operate to get them out, but essentially it's irreparable damage that was done to her body from golden thread acupuncture. Yeah. And so now she is going to be having to deal with additional pain for the rest of her life because of her frustration and her problems with what was going on. So yes, that's why I'm empathetic towards the situation. She was just trying to find some answers in places where she wasn't getting them, and she was frustrated, so she took a chance. The problem is the people that are trying to get your money that don't cover insurance do not care about your problems and what's going to happen down the road. They just want to cash that check. And so now, 3 months down the road, this poor woman cannot walk and there's going to have hand problems for the rest of her life, not just from the arthritis, but because of the massive cysts that are now growing in her body from the foreign objects that she placed in there knowingly and willingly, and that becomes a real issue. So I can understand the frustration, but it's a good reminder that if somebody tells you something and they've heard that it works, that's not exactly an endorsement, and it's not exactly... maybe a little bit more kind of follow-up should be done to make sure this is the stuff, especially if it's like, okay, so you're going to prick me with a bunch of needles and put a bunch of foreign objects in my body. Yeah. How would my body react to something like that? What was the worst thing that could happen?
Well, see, here's the problem is that we're trusting these people that they are not going to do something that will do us harm.
Right. There is, again, any kind of medical procedure comes with a certain amount of trust in it, even if there are kooks that do this stuff that have zero medical background whatsoever and just happen to have a bunch of gold thread. You got to be careful with some of the other alternative treatments that you're seeking and just make sure you do enough so you feel confident in doing this. And this is just somebody taking somebody else's word for it, and now a world of pain is followed by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bummer. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Coming up in a few minutes, we will let you know about the Aftershock Power Hours. Sounds fun, right? Find out what they are next on the X.
Here's traffic.
Sir, please fasten your belt.
Oh.
Your other belt.
It's time. Here's today's Aftershock Power Hours. Qualify for a trip to the Aftershock Festival, only from 100.3. The X rocks.
Every weekday here on the X, we are having Aftershock Power Hours, an opportunity for you to qualify for a trip for two to the Aftershock Music Festival, October 2nd through the 5th in Sacramento, California. It is 4 awesome and full days full of pretty much every band in rock that you can think of that's still around and playing live. It's going to be awesome, and we want to hook you up with a trip. And, of course, we got bonus pairs of tickets that we're giving away every Friday in September as well. So there's lots of fun to be had, but in order to get qualified, you need to know when those power hours are going to fall. Big J, what are they today?
Yeah, today's power hours, Nick, are 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 3 p.m.
So hang on, you're telling me that a power hour is going to start in like 8 minutes?
Yeah, 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and then 3 p.m.
Okay. So you will have 3 opportunities to tune in, pay attention to the artists that are going to be playing Aftershock. You don't need to have the lineup memorized. We're going to kind of give you a little bit of a warning before we play an artist, so just keep track of that. We try to make it as easy as possible. Nobody's trying to stump you here. And if you can correctly identify the amount of artists that we play in that particular hour when you're prompted to do so, boom, you are qualified. It truly is that easy, Big J.
Boom.
Can we make it any easier?
Shakalaka. No, we can't.
Thank you.
We can't make it any easier.
Once again, Big J, what are those power hours?
The power hours today are 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and 3 p.m.
Get ready to listen and win. That's coming up here on the X Rocks.
Important stuff. On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Yes, we have kicked off an Aftershock Power Hour, and Big J, it's never too early to plan for Monday Night Football, right?
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
I'll take that as a no. Because Important Stuff is brought to you by our big Monday Night Football get-together happening at McCleary's Pub. This time around on Monday, we're going to be at the McCleary's in Caldwell. 2502 Cleveland Boulevard is where you'll be able to find us. And it is a Monday Night Football doubleheader, man. We got 2 games on the schedule. The early one is Tampa Bay at Houston, and then the Chargers at Vegas. That's going to kick off around 6. Going to be out there hanging out, giving away prizes, courtesy of Shock Top and 10 Barrel Pub Beer, and stuff from the X-Rock stock as well. So get on out there. Let's party it up for Monday Night Football and have a little bit of fun this Monday, courtesy of the X and McCleary's Pub. Big J, terrible news.
What's up?
Federal data that was released yesterday reveals that we are not doing a very good job when it comes to reading. The high school seniors have reached the worst reading performance in over 4 decades. Only 1/3 of 12th graders tested this year possessed reading skills necessary for post-high school success. That's not great. Math scores also bad. It's at their weakest level since 2005. Nearly half the students scoring below basic proficiency. The tested seniors have been doing poorly for a while, but this is kind of like a little bit more of a mirror holding up to how things are going right now. Worse yet than the actual reading skills, reading comprehension skills, too, also in the toilet. Now, there's lots of things that we can blame this on. Number one, it's a little bit easier to pass now than it was back in the day, Big J. There's that. People are just willing to move students on as opposed to sitting down and challenging them and making sure they're understanding what's going on. Class sizes are bigger than ever, Big J. Homeschooling has also brought this down a huge amount. There's a lot more homeschooling, and quite frankly, parents are nearly as, I guess,
good at teaching their kids to read?
I mean, I'm not going to jump to any kind of conclusion. I would say there's probably more leniency when you're dealing with your own child than there would be if you were a teacher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of it as well. The declines affected students across all demographic groups, with possible contributing factors being the increasingness of screen time and reduced accountability measures when it comes to academic-wise stuff. So we're really, really struggling right now, Big J, and it is not great. But people are still graduating. So the question becomes, are we just letting these people slip by, and what good does that do them in the future? You know what I mean?
Yeah, not much.
No. How much of the Manning cast did you watch on the Monday Night Football opening game?
I watched the first quarter.
Who were the guests? Do you remember?
Let's see. The first guest, Bill Murray and Saquon, was the guys I saw.
Beautiful. If Peyton Manning had his way, he'd have the world's best-known Chicago's Bear fan as a guest on Monday, Pope Leo XIV. Of course, from Chicago, the newly named Pope. Peyton Manning apparently sent a handwritten letter to Pope Leo and also had his assistant kind of try to track him down. He was ghosted, Big J, by the Pope. Did not return his message.
You know, poped.
He got
versus ghosted. He got poped.
He got poped. He got big time by the Pope, and nobody big times Peyton Manning. But he in the letter had mentioned he is one of the most requested guests. I'm not sure how true that is, but he also mentioned people like Tiger Woods, Bradley Cooper, and Larry David as some of the favorites and most requested members of the Manning cast. So we'll see. Next time the Bears are on a Monday Night Football matchup is against the Washington Commanders. Who knows if that's going to happen?
Here's my complaint with the Manning cast. It's a great idea. It's fun. But when they have guests on, it's just talking over each other a lot because there's a delay.
Yeah, they're never in the same space.
And they're not in the same space. I think if they were, you don't want to turn it into a show. I think you could keep the aesthetic of the of the Manning brothers together if they were in the same room. That just because that it just doesn't make it as much fun to try to get through that. And if you can believe it, at a certain point, because I always start off watching the Manning cast, but then I'm almost like, God, I just want to hear Troy and Joe just talk about football a little bit and not hear people talking over each other.
Right.
awkward pauses and everything. They do a lot of fun stuff, and the Manning brothers are very funny. But it's a acquired taste.
Do you have some fatigue? Maybe it was cooler at the beginning, and now you're like, all right already. Could that be it?
Yeah, I think a little bit of that.
Okay,
sure.
I don't know what they're doing that they can't be in the same place together.
Yeah, and the thing, because they want to keep an aesthetic of some sort, but
they want their own little window, I guess, and that's fine. But you could be in the same room and do that.
The appeal for me for the Manning cast is much like the Pat McAfee show. It's like, hey, you've got a former professional athlete that understands the game, but they're talking to us like we're just dudes, like regular people, and it's not a formal occasion like it is with your typical announcing crew, and that's what I kind of like about it. But yeah, once you start talking over each other and everything, it loses the aesthetic for me.
So you're basically saying too many cooks.
Too many cooks. Too many cooks.
NBC introduced a free ad-supported streaming channel dedicated entirely to Law and Order, Big J.
That's
How about
time.
that?
I mean, done.
If you had to guess how many episodes are in the Law and Order library?
Of all of them?
Yes.
I'm going to say there's got to be at least 1,500 episodes.
No, you're way, way, way over.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, each is an hour, so you have to keep that in mind as well.
Well, you said episodes.
Yes.
I'm just saying there's at least 800 episodes of Law and Order.
523.
Oh, okay.
Episodes of Law and Order, and it will basically cover the entire Law and Order. Yes, I'm not talking about SVU or any of the other kind of additions.
Yeah, I bet there's about
it.
1,000 episodes between all of them.
But this is just dedicated to the original Law and Order series.
It's not a universe thing. It's just Law and Order.
Correct.
Okay. Isn't that TBS? Isn't that what that does?
What? No, sometimes.
USA Network?
But now it's owned by NBC, so now they have a strict Law and Order channel. But it will be available wherever you can find those streaming channels like Pluto TV, Prime Video, Roku, Samsung TV Plus, LG channels. It'll be there, so whenever you want a Law and Order episode, you'll be able to pick it up at any particular point and check it out streaming. So you will be able to see all 523 episodes on a loop, essentially, in the Law and Order channel. That is now available for you to check out if you are a fan. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X.
Here's traffic.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
And we're making Pop Culture Smackdown count with tickets to X Fest 2025, baby. We get you some lawn tickets. It's, of course, happening October 1st out at the Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. Venus Love, the Dead Poets Society, Asking Alexandria, and Chevelle. It's going to be a fantastic day. In order to win these tickets right now for free, you just need to beat me in Pop Culture Smackdown. So bring it.
Listen, Big J is just trying to get back up on the training wheels. He's unfamiliar with the concept of Pop Culture Smackdown. Could be some easy
very familiar
tickets today. It depends on how it goes with him. But if you want to play, 208-287-1003. Big J, are you prepared?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, the X.
No.
Hey.
Hey, good morning, man. What's your name?
Tim.
All right, Tim, you're up first. Tim, we need to know, in what movie did Neve Campbell portray a witch? Was it Scream, The Craft, or Warlock?
The Craft?
Right.
Sounded like a guess, but you nailed it. Big J.
Yeah.
Hot.
In the movie Mrs. Doubtfire, an iconic film, how many children do Daniel, the character portrayed by Robin Williams, and Miranda, the character portrayed by Sally Field, have in the movie?
They have 3.
That is correct.
Right.
Tim, back to you. What Disney character had an uncle based on Scrooge? Was it Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, or Pluto?
Donald Duck.
Right.
Scrooge McDuck. Big J, who was the first male actor to ever be paid a $1 million salary for a movie role?
Man. The first man. $1 million.
$1 million.
I'm going to go Paul Newman.
Wrong.
You're in that era. He is considered one of the greatest actors
Robert
of all time.
Redford?
I know you've seen the movie in which he made this money for. No, it wasn't Robert Redford.
Wrong.
Think of like everybody looks up. I bet you those two guys look up to this guy.
Robert De Niro then? Gotta be De Niro? No? All right, I don't know.
Tim, do you have any guess?
Clint Eastwood?
Good guess, but no. The answer, Marlon Brando.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Did so for Superman.
I was going to say, I bet it was for Superman.
Congratulations, man. You got tickets to go check out XFest 2025. Hang on one second. We'll get you everything you need to know about that. Enjoy. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We're talking serious stuff about levies next on the X Rocks.
Headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines brought to you by Be Our Guest. Beginning at 9 o'clock at xrock.com, you'll have an opportunity to grab $50 to the Lemon Tree Company and the Grove by Lemon Tree Company for just 25 American bucks. But you got to get them while supplies last. They'll go live at 9 o'clock. Make sure you are there and rocking and rolling. They have some great sandwiches, some amazing lemonade, all of it fresh, all of it ready to go. Lots of bold flavors, fresh ingredients. It's absolutely delicious regardless of if you want breakfast or you want brunch or you want lunch or you want dinner. It's all covered. LemonTreeBoise.com to take a look at their menu. But go check it out. Be Our Guest for Lemon Tree Company and the Grove by Lemon Tree Company. $50 for just $25 at xrock.com on Friday. Headlines are as follows, Big J. That's too tiny. Culprit found and worst breakfast ever.
That's too tiny.
Police in British Columbia arrested a man last week after he drove a child-sized pink Barbie Jeep on busy streets like a Power Wheels, Big J.
Not right. You can't do that.
Police began receiving calls around 9 o'clock in the morning about a toy vehicle creating traffic hazards. The streets were very busy at the time, but of course it was because it was 9 o'clock on a weekday. So the officers discovered the driver had a suspended license and arrested him for prohibited driving. Police suspected that he also was hammered. So, I mean, listen, 9 o'clock on a weekday, you probably have a problem there.
Or third shift, baby.
So he is going to have to appear in court later. He explained that he didn't realize it was a Barbie Jeep, which I don't know how that could possibly happen.
He's hammered.
Yeah. So, of course, you cannot, those are not street legal. You cannot take a Power Wheels on the freeway or on city streets or any of that stuff.
Tell that to my neighbor's kids.
So, well, I mean, are they taking it to the store?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, yeah, keep an eye on them, Big J. If their parents aren't watching them, you need to.
Nope.
Culprit found or worst breakfast ever.
Worst breakfast ever.
9 people sustained minor injuries last week when a section of a ceiling collapsed at an IHOP restaurant.
Oh, damn.
This happened at a Brooklyn's Flatlands neighborhood. The New York City Fire Department responded to an incident where a 10 by 10 inch chunk of a ceiling fell, likely caused by water damage, according to city inspectors. 5 injured diners had to be transported to local hospitals, while 4 others declined additional medical treatment. But apparently, according to the people that were dining there at the time, it was scary. A woman was sitting down. Then she heard like a cracking noise. Next thing you know, she got brained by a chunk of the ceiling. That's not great. She said she just wanted to enjoy her short stack, and she couldn't do it after that. It was really hard to eat.
Free pancakes for life now, though, right?
Yeah, I would hope so. The city's Department of Buildings citing the restaurant's owner for failing to maintain the property. Got to check for that water damage, Big J. I keep telling you.
IHOP, an adventure.
That's right. You never know what you're going to get. Wrap it up with culprit found. Police in Bavaria had a problem because they thought there was like a late night person doing ding dong ditch. You remember that when you were a kid?
Sure.
Ring the doorbell and then sprint away.
Yeah, we just shoot people here in America doing that.
This was happening in the middle of the night in Bavaria, and it was really upsetting people because they would go or they had cameras and nothing was there. They couldn't figure it out. They thought it was like some weird ghost stuff was happening. Turned out, Big J, it was a slug. It happened at an apartment building, and the doorbells kept ringing nightly during nighttime hours, so they thought it was local kids. Turned out, when they investigated, they found that a slug was crawling across the doorbell panel that was triggering multiple units as it moved.
Hilarious.
So the slug was right there on the nameplate, just hanging out, doing its thing. No kids involved, so they grabbed the slug off the doorbell, moved it to a nearby grassy area. Everything was fine, and nobody was upset.
McSluggy the Sluggo.
Yeah, just wanted a little bit of attention. Just hanging out. So that's not something that's likely to happen around these parts. Here it would be like a snake or a black widow or a crocodile or something, you know?
I don't think we have any crocodiles around here. It's
not
Florida.
around here. I just meant U.S.
Yeah.
In the United
you're
States. Right. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There are your headlines. You're up to date on everything. That's going to wrap up a power hour as well. So we're going to switch things up a little bit. If you've been keeping track, text us in the correct number of artists that you heard during the Aftershock Power Hour right now, and we will figure it out. Big J will text the first person back, right? That's qualified?
Yeah.
And you were in the running.
If you don't get a text back, you didn't win.
That's right. That's how it works. So Text it in if you've been paying attention for Aftershock Power Hour artist, 208-287-1003. And we'll talk those levies next on the X Rocks. Morning After with Nick and Big J. And it's an honor and privilege to have a couple of really awesome guests in our studio to talk about something very important that we think that's happening here in the Treasure Valley. We have Mid-Star Fire Chief Greg Timinsky in studio and Fireman Matt Pidjeon in studio. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you very much for coming in and taking time out of your busy morning to talk about something. But Jay, of course, is a longtime Middleton resident. He has lived there for a very long time, and we always kind of talk about the levy that has happened in the Mid-Star area, about you guys trying to increase resources in the area as that particular city has grown exponentially over the last couple of years. And so we wanted to get some inside information about why you think that's such a struggle for this to pass.
You bet. You know, I think the biggest struggle we have with passing the levy is just informing the people. So we've had like 26 open houses between Middleton and Star, and the information is relatively close to the same in both districts. And at best, we get 3 or 4 people to come. And when they do come, they usually come upset because we're doing something to their property taxes, which is totally understandable. But the why, why we need it, why they need it, what our goals are. Our goals are to respond to all emergencies in 5 minutes or less. And we're not able to accomplish that today.
Yeah.
If we're talking specifically about Middleton, Middleton has one fire station. And yes, it's a big building on Main Street in town. But there's not a plethora of firemen in there. When that engine leaves, there is nobody left in that 110 square miles of Middleton. The next unit's going to be coming from Star or Caldwell or even farther out than that, which every one of those will add 5 to 7 minutes to the response time to the second emergency, if there is a second emergency going on, which seems to be happening more and more and more as we grow. So we have a building out on Harvey Road between Goodson and Galloway that we're going to remodel and hopefully at some point staff it. And that's what this levy increases for, is to staff that station. That'll give a second unit in that 110 square miles, the Middleton Fire District, which will be able to handle the second emergency in a reasonable amount of time, and hopefully we'll get them to the point where we're 5 minutes or less. That is our ultimate goal, to be there when you need us.
Yeah, it's not like there's it's one of those things where obviously as a citizen of a town, if I say, gosh, I want to be able to have emergency services come help me when I need help, we're all going to say, yeah, I will happily, do my share to make sure that that's paid for. But the disconnect is when you're not thinking that way, and just the fact that we've got a lot of people who just moved in to this area in the last couple years, in particular 5 years. I mean, the population has grown so much, and I don't know if a lot of those folks who are new in town understand, that part of it, and I haven't connected with the side of the emergency responders, and yet because they're new and they've just moved in, I don't know if they understand exactly what it needs to be done.
Well, the other thing that's interesting is we're a fire district. And what I've learned is a lot of these folks that are coming to our communities came from a big city in another state. Doesn't matter what state it was. When they come from big cities, come to the small town rural areas where you have a fire district, the city isn't connected to the fire district. We're 2 separate taxing entities. And when we collect our own property taxes, the city cannot give us money. The county cannot give us money. We're 98% reliant on property tax. You hear the people say that make the new people pay for it, make growth pay for itself. That's what's building the fire station. That was what's doing the complete remodel. That is what's buying the fire truck, because with impact fees, that is what our state statute allows us to buy with those. We can't buy people with impact fees. So in my simple thinking is that the new growth is paying for itself. It is building the building. It is providing the fire truck. Now it's up to all of us that live within that fire district. Everybody, it doesn't matter if it's close to the new station or not, needs to pay for the people, because those people are the ones that are going to come. And we can't hire just one person. Like a lot of businesses, you hire one person and it makes a difference. It takes a workload off of others. To have an engine company, we need a minimum of 9 people. So when we're talking about hiring to staff a fire station, it is the minimum 9, optimally 12. So that's where the cost comes from. That's why we need the levy increase to be able to staff the fire station that the new growth has paid for.
And this levy has been on the ballot a couple times over the last couple of years. It hasn't quite got that 66% that it needs in order to pass, and we always are disappointed by that result, as I'm sure you guys are as well. And so I want to give a shout-out, Chief, to the website, which is midstarfire.org, which has an incredible detailed breakdown of everything you need to know about why this levy is needed and what goes into it, because I think you're right. People get freaked out about property taxes, but you have a great chart there that kind of details how much you would be impacted by this particular levy, and it's not nearly as much as people would think. They just completely freak out because any increase is bad, but it's obviously a little bit more depending on the size of house that you have, but nothing that anybody would think is egregious for trying to protect the area, and it's important people know that information as well.
Yeah, the other thing that we have learned by going through this process, this will be the 4th time that it's on the ballot, and we live in America. You get a choice. You get to vote how you want to vote. We're not telling you to vote one way or the other. We're trying to give you the information on why it's needed. What we did learn during this process is coming from other states that I think in Middleton, the very first one started like $65 per $100,000 of taxable value. Well, we live in a state where that number goes down with growth. It's an ad valorem tax. In other states, that $65 would never change. It stays on your tax roll of $65 forever. Now, with the growth that we've had in the last year, it is now down to $56 or something like that per $100,000. As we continue to grow, that will continue to go down. In Star, it started at $56, and now it's down to $37 because the growth has been faster in Star than it has been in Middleton. But just look at the Highway 44 corridor. It's coming. Mm-hmm. Like it or not, it's coming. Idaho is very, very strict on their property rights laws. A city can't tell somebody that they can't sell their land to a developer. The city gets to work on the comprehensive plan on what that looks like, but they can't tell somebody, no, you can't sell that to a developer. So it's going to go down Highway 44 from Eagle to Star to Middleton. It's just headed that direction.
Yeah, and we've seen that growth. And I think the important part of that, too, is just the understanding of that policy and how, the more people that are there, that it's not going to be as a big a tax burden on your property taxes. I think that's a really important information that people are probably just glossing over and not understanding.
Yeah, because where they came from, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So that's the big piece on why we're trying to continue to educate people, to educate them that they have moved from somewhere, wherever that somewhere was, and now they're in a state that does it differently. Come and learn about it. Then make your choice after you've learned about it.
And Matt, of course, this is your backyard as well. You have lived here and worked here for a while. I imagine you being on the front lines can tell how much this particular improvement would be needed with you and your crew, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Chief talked about response times earlier. So Middleton alone, we're on the southern portion of the district. If we run out to the northern part of the district, lights and sirens, you're looking at a 15 to 20 minute response time. 15 or 20 minutes. That's just to get there. That doesn't mean providing care. It doesn't mean putting water on the fire. It doesn't mean anything like that. It's just getting there. And that's all time that is detrimental to what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it makes sense. This levy is incredibly important for the Treasure Valley and that particular area. So we're going to give it another run. We're going to run it back. We're going to try again. What do we have to look forward to, and when is that going to happen?
It's going to happen on November 4th. It's going to be on the ballot in both Star and Middleton. I think, it's $56 in Middleton and $37.93 in Star. You mentioned earlier when we first sat down here that Mid-Star Fire. So everybody's clear. The folks in Middleton are only voting on the Middleton levy increase. The folks in Star are only voting on the Star levy increase. One does not, the money doesn't cross over. So just so everybody knows that's listening to us today, is we have two separate fire districts, two separate taxing authorities that we have, two separate board of commissioners. We just have a joint powers agreement to operate as one. It saves all the citizens in the Middleton and the Star Fire districts about $450,000 a year in overhead costs. It provides staffing when, typically in Middleton with one fire station and one engine running, it saves on overtime costs because we can move people back and forth. But we always reconcile that. Every quarter we reconcile. No, Middleton does not pay for any Star people, and Star does not pay for any Middleton people, but we make sure that the units that are responding are covered.
It makes sense. No, November 4th is an important day. We're hoping to give this thing another run and make sure that everybody knows how important it is to vote for this, because I think you're right. I mean, it's not necessarily people don't want this. It's that they're just not getting to the polls and making their voices be heard. So once again, if you're looking for information, midstarfire.org has a great breakdown of everything. You've talked about the open houses that you're hosting on a regular basis. You have a great kind of function where you're like, hey, call us if you have any questions. We're happy to answer anything you want to know about this levy to make sure you have as much information as possible. So I got to give it up. Thank you for breaking it down in detail for us. And we don't usually get this serious, but it's an important thing. We want to talk about it. It's had a lot of runs at this thing, and we want to make sure it goes through because people are being affected by this particular levy. They just need to know a little bit more about it. So thank you for your service. Thank you for everything that you do, and hopefully November 4th is the day.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, and you might not be able to tell people who to vote and how to vote, but I'll do that for you. So, yes, vote for the damn levy.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the morning after with Nick and Big J.
Yep, and for Bad Impressions here, we've got a nice pair of tickets to X-Fest, baby, 2025, October 1st, the Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. Chevelle, Asking Alexandria, Dead Poet Society, and Venus Love. Those are your bands. We'll get you lined up here with these tickets for free if you can figure out the clues to Bad Impressions.
Well, you're going to give them the clues, I certainly hope.
Yeah,
you have to figure out the clues, but you have to figure out the person, that's for sure. You get 3 clues. 208-287-1003 is the number that you need to call if you'd like to play. All based on somebody famous today, Big J?
Entity.
Oh.
An entity.
Like from Mission Impossible?
No.
Okay.
Not a successful entity.
All right. So you have to guess the entity today, which probably sounds more complicated than it's going to be, so don't be scared.
Yeah.
208-287-1003 is our number. Best of luck to everybody involved. Hello, the X.
Morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
Brandon.
All right, Brandon, you're up first. So good luck landing that plane.
Did it make sense to have an astronaut on the moon as our logo? No, but it works.
Okay.
Before we became a garbage reality show factory, we actually played like music videos.
Okay, again.
At least we gave you Beavis and Butthead. Yeah.
What entity is it, sir?
It's an entity, a brand, a cable network.
I do not know.
It's all right. It happens to the best of us. And quite frankly, I wouldn't blame him.
I don't know if it's the best of us.
It happens to you sometimes. You think you know something you don't, right? Hello, the X.
Hey.
Hey, man, did you hear Big J's clues, or do you need him again?
I might need. I'm gonna say MTV. If anything, unless I need to hear him again.
No, that's right.
No, you don't need to hear him again. You nailed it. Good job. Hang on one second, dude. We'll hook you up with those X-Fest tickets. Well played. Hey, Big J, why is MTV in the news?
MTV in the news, well, it's mostly the results from the MTV Music Awards, Nick, which went down on Sunday night, I think it was.
It was.
They drew 5.5 million viewers, making a 42% audience increase after moving to CBS. So did not realize this was going down on CBS. I didn't get that message, but that's interesting because CBS in the last few years, MTV has been trying it on their own and hasn't been getting squat. So last year's VMAs averaged 4 million viewers across MTV and 11 other Paramount cable television networks. CBS has about 125 million homes compared to MTV's roughly half that number. So they went up a little bit And hopefully this will continue. LL Cool J was the host. I didn't catch any of this, and I'm okay.
It's weird though, like what we claim as a victory these days. You know, it's incredible how much things have faded. You just mentioned CBS is available 125 million homes, and 5 tuned in, and we're doing backflips over the MTV Video Music Awards. It's really, really incredible how that is the case. It wouldn't even be, we'd be crazy how that we wouldn't even flinch at that a couple of years ago. But listen, it's hard to get people's attention. It's harder to get people's attention for that amount of time, and certainly for that stuff. So take the win where you can get it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the Joe Perry Youngblood thing looked cool, but other than that, it wasn't a lot there for us rock
No,
fans.
it's not. It wasn't a rock show.
Yeah.
That is for sure. I mean, they had to do something with Ozzy because the Osbournes had such a big part of MTV back in the day. That's where it was. So that of course makes sense. But no, that was Pop Central for sure. But you know what? I mean, if you're going to do something and it costs that much money to do, it's all under the Paramount umbrella. You might as well throw it on the streamer. You might as well put it on the mothership and see what happens if it can do anything and improve.
And considering that was going up against Sunday Night Football, that's still a pretty good draw.
Sure.
You know, when usually that's sucking all the air out of the room.
Morning After, especially when it was a good matchup like it was on Sunday night. Baltimore and Buffalo. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your bad impressions. We'll wrap up the show here next on the X-Rocks. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J. That's going to wrap up our Wednesday show. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Big J gave a thumbs down to Sacramento. Did not enjoy that movie. That is available for you to watch on Hulu, mostly because Big J hates Michael Cera is really what it boils down to. And so he does not like Michael Cera vehicles. And now, did you like Scott Pilgrim vs. the World?
That's not true. I don't mind Michael Cera at all. It just, he needs balance.
You just think he's the same in every movie.
Yes,
and
but
he gets on your nerves.
He needs balance. We can't have two Michael Cera types in the same movie.
Oh, so you had more of a problem with the other Michael guy.
Like I said, there was no balance between it was like a mirror image of the nonsense.
Yeah, but counterpoint. I mean, isn't that kind of what friends are? I mean, it's a lot of like the same people hanging out with each other.
I don't know.
You're direct opposites or your friends?
I don't know about direct opposites, but a little balance.
Right, well, and point taken too. It's not like there's a Big J movie about you and your friends out there somewhere either. You know,
not yet.
Is it coming soon?
No.
Okay. But also, we went NPR on your ass this morning as a special thank you to the Mid-Star Fire Chief and, of course, the Middleton Fire Department for popping by and talking about how important this levy is for the people of Middleton and the people of Star. If you missed it, check out the podcast. It's really, really important information given out. November 4th is when the polls are going to be open. We're hoping that the fourth time is the charm for this levy because it is kind of silly that there's a lot of people in these areas that need emergency services that do not get what they need because they're not willing to vote for what they need. And so we want to try to move that in the right direction. And so, yeah, we definitely talked a lot about that today. But I think it was time well spent. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Definitely, yeah.
And it does leave you with the floor, sir.
Yeah, when Idaho Power is like, hey, on this particular day, we're shutting down the power because we got to do some stuff. Make a note of that so you don't run into that. Thinking when you're on your way home that you got work to do and you get there like, oh, I got no power here.
When did it come back on?
Yesterday. That happened. It was like 2:00.
Okay.
But I was in a hurry because I had to get some stuff done at home and then couldn't do it because there was no power. And it smelled weird in the house.
Why did it smell weird?
It's a great question.
For the puke, maybe?
Yeah.
Next set of
no
extra
airflow.
Brought to you
it was
by
all shut down.
T Mazda and the pre-owned superstore. Getting financed at T Mazda easier than ever thanks to GoTeamCredit.com. Everybody gets pre-approved with no effect on your credit. Try it. Log on to GoTeamCredit.com today. That's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow. Jason Drew's up next. It's the X-Rocks.